Hi everybody, welcome to the 4 to 5. Eric Chilton here with Ben Briscoe and Tanya Rivera. We're going to have fun today.
We are. I'm like, da-da!
Ta-da!
Eric Chilton's the only normal one on the show.
I got my friends with me today.
So we're the abnormal ones.
We are.
You took over. It was a hostile takeover.
I was about to say, you never know what's going to happen. You might have to rein us in.
That's true.
Today.
That's true.
We're going to have to rein him in. What are you talking about? Have you watched this guy?
There are
That's
times.
true. We all know Eric Chilton. All right, so thanks for joining us. You know, you're watching us maybe on WFMY News 2 Fire Stick, Roku, the WFMY News 2 app.
Or, of course, Facebook, too.
Sure.
We'd love to know your thoughts on the stories. As we're reading them, leave us a comment. We'll check in throughout the show.
Absolutely. And we'll talk about the forecast coming up. Looks good in the short term.
It does look so pretty. All right. Let's take a look at what's going on in 4 to 5. The retrial for Molly Corbett and Tom Martens is delayed. Court officials have confirmed it moved from June until November. Now, this comes after a judge ruled to move the high-profile murder case from Davidson County to Forsyth County. Corbett and her father were convicted of murdering Corbett's husband in 2015. An appeals court overturned their convictions, citing errors in the case.
Happening right now, Guilford County school leaders are explaining their plan to pay teachers and school staff more. They hope better pay will help them recruit and retain more teachers.
Now, a part of that is getting our teachers on a better playing field with other nearby large school districts.
I mean, budget season, I think, is always a back and forth. I am optimistic because I think people understand the need to invest in people, and people is our business in public education. So, you know, I think there's lots of different factors at play, but I am hopeful and optimistic that we will at least be able to get our employees close to market value, and I know that they deserve it.
We know you have thoughts on this. You get a chance to weigh in on the budget next month before it's sent to the Guilford County Board of Commissioners.
Well, leaders from Guilford County schools are at the Coliseum right now looking for teachers to fill those current and future positions. The district is looking for teachers of all grade levels. You could even get a $20,000 signing bonus. The job fair started at 4 and it runs until 6:30, so you have time to get out there to the field house. It's located right there at the Greensboro Coliseum complex.
The Greensboro Police Department's also looking to hire more than 100 officers. GPD says short staffing forced the department to temporarily cut some specialized units, and it's also slowed response times. But they said their hiring event, like the one last night, is making a big difference in recruiting. Dozens showed up at the Police Academy Center to learn what it takes to wear the uniform. Lieutenant Corey Flowers says the goal of the event was to get some of that preliminary testing out of the way early.
The chief has recently had to make some very hard decisions, getting rid of some units that aren't specifically tied to either addressing violent crime or patrol response times. So we, of course, optimally would want to re-establish those units in the future when we're closer to full capacity.
Greensboro police say the event hit its goal of bringing in 75 potential employees. A few dozen already filled out applications and even took some pre-screening tests. Of course, the department is still hiring. If you're interested, you can check out WFMYnews2.com. GPD says one of the biggest struggles is competing with other departments. Burlington Police, for example, recently improved its benefits and pay, which helped them fill some open spots. Greensboro Police Chief John Thompson told us earlier this month that officers in Burlington now make about $10,000 more than the average hire in Greensboro. He's asked the city council to boost officer pay and hopes they'll support the idea.
Well, tonight the Guilford County Commission will consider an incentives package to attract yet another aviation company to our airport. The county is holding a public hearing and will decide whether to give Marshall USA more than $430,000. The company could build a maintenance site at the airport and create 240 new jobs. Greensboro City Council approved an incentives package for Marshall USA earlier this week.
Boy, it already feels like summer out there. Still spring though, summer's a little bit away. But the Carolina amusement park, Carowinds, is getting ready for the grand opening. Carowinds' chaperone policy starts this weekend. They are putting it in place to cut down on what they call unruly and inappropriate behavior. Under this policy, all guests aged 15 and older or younger must be accompanied by a chaperone. That chaperone must be at least 21 years old. Now, this only applies from 4 p.m. until closing time, and there is a limit of 10 kids per chaperone.
Well, this policy hopes to avoid situations like the one that happened over the weekend. That's when a teenager ended up in a really tight spot. You see, Carowinds officials say a 13-year-old boy got stuck in the claw machine on Sunday while he was attempting, they say, to steal from the machine. The teen climbed into the machine, got stuck. He was rescued by the Carowinds medical response team. Okay.
If I was his parents, I would have said, leave him there overnight.
Yeah.
We'll come back in the morning.
So let him stay for about an hour, and maybe 2 or 3, and then go talk to him. That's what you get.
I just don't even know how you wiggled your way in there. Like, that's a tight spot, like, to get yourself in there. I've seen, like, little kids do it, you know, when the parents aren't watching and they go up through the thing. But a teenager, you really had to, like...
You had to work at that.
You had to work at that. That just didn't happen by chance. Like, I happened to fall in.
Right, I fell in.
I mean, I will give the teen credit for not just breaking out the window and grabbing it.
Well,
Okay.
I'm sure his friends ran and told. He was probably he or she. I don't know. Was this he? Do we know if it's a he?
I
we
believe
are
it was a
assuming
he.
it was a he. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, his friends probably ran and got help. He was scared to death of that thing.
And he should be.
He should be.
Yeah.
That
Don't
is
do
a
that.
dare he should not have taken.
Don't
Double
do that.
dog dare ya.
That's right. And you saw what happened to the kid with
That's
the,
right,
yeah,
with
that's-
his tongue on the
That's
pole.
what happens to you. All right, let's talk about our forecast, shall we? Because we've got some good stuff in the short term. We are watching for a chance of rain moving in, maybe even thunderstorm activity for your Saturday. Now, the timing of that's important for weekend activity, so we'll talk about that in a minute. 83 degrees in Greensboro. 84 in Winston-Salem. We've got 86 in Reedsville. To the south, 85 Lexington, Asheboro, 84, and Troy is in the upper 80s right now. Tonight, we look for clear skies for the most part, 57 degrees. It starts to become partly sunny tomorrow. I think by the end of the day, you'll see an advance of clouds, maybe ahead of the front that'll move by on Saturday. 83 degrees for tomorrow. Now, when you look at the radar, and I'm going to step out of the way here, and we'll go out to a wider shot for you, you can see there's the front. So we have some time until it gets here. But again, this is probably going to be a during the day Saturday situation. So when you look at the rain out there, the chances, it's a 60% chance of a shower and thunderstorms. And that is on Saturday during the day. Probably midday to afternoon, the high drops to 74 with the rain. We're back into the 60s, finally below normal for a change. That'll be Sunday, breezy and 66, and then sunny, mid 60s as we head into to Monday and Tuesday.
The heart of the community awards were today, and some of the people honored received the Governor's Award, which is the highest award given.
Yeah, Habitat for Humanity Builders, they received that award. You'll remember that they have been instrumental in helping rebuild homes in East Greensboro following the 2018 tornado.
They were honored for the work they continue to do, even during the pandemic when others stopped working.
It feels great that this group of men and women have been honored in this way by the community. They have given tirelessly over these past several years, particularly challenging during the pandemic. They have kept Habitat going and building houses and providing housing opportunities for families here in our community because of their dedication and service. And we couldn't be more grateful and happy to bestow that award on them.
So cool. And what a neat thing, especially during the pandemic. There's nothing more that you wanted to do was have a safe place to call home.
Yeah.
And I love, we've covered these stories. I've been out there on builds a lot, and when they present the family with the key and you watch the face, and what I really love is to watch the parents look at the kids.
Yes.
Because there was one family, and I can't remember what country they were from, but they were immigrants, and the dad said, we've been living in one room, all of us, for all of their lives. And this is the first time that the kids will have a room to themselves.
And if you guys have never been part of a Habitat build,
Oh, do
go
it.
do
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
It is such a rewarding experience.
And you don't have to have skills. They're
That's
going to
right.
teach
No.
you, and you're going to learn how to put windows together and things like that. Things that you never thought you'd be able to do, but you learn how to do it.
That was my big takeaway, right? Like you're helping someone else, but you also realize what you can do
Right,
yourself.
yeah, it was really cool.
And you learn a skill while
Yeah.
you're there. It's pretty cool. All right, we're going to take a break, and about 2.5 minutes. We'll be right back.
All right, to test or not to test?
To quarantine or not quarantine? These are still questions that are confusing even this long into COVID-19.
Yeah, WFMY News 2's Megan Milleras verifies what to do if you're around someone like a spouse who's been exposed to COVID.
The federal government is preparing to end its emergency COVID declaration in May, signaling the end of certain pandemic programs, but not the end of COVID. Chances are you know someone right now who is sick with the virus or had an exposure to it.
So say your loved one has a direct COVID exposure and then comes home to you. Do you need to quarantine? Let's verify rules for an exposure to an exposure. Our sources are the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, a new study published in the Emerging Infectious Diseases Journal, and Dr. Chris Ohl, an infectious diseases physician with Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist. Their answer in most cases is no.
We don't quarantine contacts of contacts. So the scenario of this is if you have an exposure to COVID and then you come home from your exposure at work and now your wife is exposed to you, she doesn't need to test. She doesn't need to quarantine. It's really only people who are directly exposed to people who are test positive, either symptomatic or asymptomatic.
So then, if the person directly exposed were to later test positive, how soon would he be contagious? The Emerging Diseases study found the incubation period for the common Omicron subvariants like BA.5 is shorter than that of the Delta strain that dominated 2021. That means an infected person could be contagious sooner, but for a smaller window of time. So keeping distance from your loved ones after a direct exposure can help prevent contagion. In conclusion, we verified no, you don't have to quarantine after being exposed to someone who had a direct COVID exposure, but the person directly exposed does need to take precautions.
Those direct exposure rules per the CDC are to mask up for 5 days and test on day 6. If positive or if symptoms develop, isolate. The CDC's website has a COVID isolation and exposure calculator to help you figure out what to do and for how long. With your Verify, I'm Megan Milleras.
Hey, you like free stuff, right? Don't we all? Well, you've got until June 30th to get free COVID tests through the state. Each state household will receive 2 kits with 5 tests per kit. Now, health leaders are saying you really should take advantage of this now while supplies last, because as more COVID emergencies come to an end, it's going to be harder and harder to find free tests. You can apply through the State Health Department website. We'll be right back.
It is a small town with big ideas. The town of Pilot Mountain, they're hosting their Outdoor Adventure Expo and Festival. It's this weekend. It looks like it'll be the best ever, including the biggest act they say they've ever booked. I spoke with Christy Craig and Jenny Kendi to get all the details. Hey guys, thanks for being with us today. Let's talk a little bit about how, why do this? How did all this come about?
What we identified is that, we have Pilot Mountain in our backyard, and we have so many natural resource amenities and recreation. And so we really want to be known as the base camp for outdoor adventure. And that's part of the reason why we're doing this big event, is to really showcase what we have. We'll have music, we'll have vendors that will be for outdoor gear.
Christy, go through the rundown here. Tell me what this weekend will look like.
Friday, it starts at 4 p.m. We will have vendors. We also have a block party. On Saturday, we start our day off with a 5K. We have vendors all day. We have music on the bandstand that starts at noon and runs through 10. And then, of course, we have the Old Crow Medicine Show over at Armfield Civic Center. And then Sunday we have a disc golf tournament, and we also have the bandstand and vendors as well.
So getting Old Crow Medicine Show that's a huge get for you guys. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we were able to get Old Crow, but it's really Christy who was able to get them. There's a lot of behind the scenes negotiation that has to be done, and she really did great taking the lead on that. This is the biggest band that we have ever booked in Pilot Mountain. I was not prepared for all that it entailed, but we pulled it off.
Hey, good luck with everything this weekend, guys, and thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. So the event itself is free, but you do have to buy concert tickets. They start at $30, but they have VIP tickets and all this extra stuff you can get to.
Do you have to hike to get to the concert?
No, you do not.
Want to clarify.
Is that a make or break for you? Okay.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun, and they say, Surrey County has a lot with hiking and kayaking and zip lining and all that, so they're trying to highlight all that and the businesses in town that cater to that.
I've even seen weddings at Pilot Mountain. Like
that would
you
be
walk
pretty.
up and you're going into the parking lot, and then all of a sudden there's people on the overlook, and they're getting married, and
Well,
you're like,
it's
this
such
is
a
cool.
beautiful spot.
It
That
is.
makes
Yes.
sense.
The knob itself, they say it's unstable so that people can't, but back in the day, my parents said that there was a road and you could actually go to the top of the knob.
Really?
Andy Griffith tried to buy the knob from the family that owned Pilot Mountain originally, and they wouldn't let him have it, but they were going to put like a house up there and a swimming pool and all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
so-
interesting. I like to watch the rock climbers when I go to Pilot
Yes.
Mountain. It is amazing.
They've got skill.
They do.
I always feel like my feet, I wear size 15 and they're too big to grab onto the rocks, so that's my excuse.
We're not hanging off the side of a mountain. If I went off the trail one time and looked, and there are those little,
Yes.
what are they that they hammer in to climb with?
Right, yes.
And you're not supposed to climb on that. People are doing it out there because I've seen it. I've looked. So we
Be
know
careful.
We're watching
Eric's
you.
telling on you.
Yeah, you got to be careful out there. Yeah, it's actually dangerous. All right, let's talk about our forecast and changes coming up for us, because we do have some rain coming in on Saturday. In fact, it could be in the form of an isolated thunderstorm or 2 or 3. We're going to watch that closely and take a look at current readings. We're in the low to mid 80s, just about where we said we would be. Troy, the hot spot though, it's 88 there. 84 in Winston-Salem, 86 Reedsville, 85 in Martinsville. Cooler, of course, in the higher elevations. We're mid to upper 70s. It's beautiful in Boone right now. Clear skies, 57 for that overnight low tonight. Highs tomorrow, 83, partly sunny and warm. So let's go out to the big shot here, and you can see there's the front that will eventually get here. The timing of this we're going to watch closely. We do think that it will move through on Saturday. That causes the thunderstorm activity probably right in the middle of the day. I think by Saturday evening or night, things will be better and we'll clear it back out again. But that first half of the day, and definitely by midday, is something to watch for us over the next 24 to 48 hours. Here's what it looks like on high resolution Futurecast. You can see some of that rain moving in as early as 8 o'clock in the morning. Now we'll advance a little bit further. More showers streaming in from the south. That's at about 11 in the morning. It looks like right there, that's the actual front itself moving by, but that'll be around 2:30 in the afternoon. After that, and maybe by 5, 6, we could see some clearing, and definitely into Saturday night. So if you look at the 7-day forecast, not too bad. After the rain, it's a 70% chance of showers and storms on Saturday with a high of 74. We cool it down. Winds will be up a little bit on Sunday, 66. It's sunny and cool for Monday, Tuesday in the mid 60s, and then low 60s, another rain chance slips in. It's a 30% chance for Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, the Winston-Salem Dash is changing its name for one night.
They will play as the Winston-Salem Hyphens.
Uh-huh.
After some back and forth between the baseball team and the city,
Yep.
the team said the city's name should be Winston-Salem, but the mayor says no, that is definitely a hyphen, not a dash.
So the team will be called the Hyphens for one night only, complete with new jerseys and baseball caps. The team is selling the limited edition Hyphens merch online now. You can see the players sporting it. Yeah, you can see that. I do enjoy this. Their home game is Saturday, May 6th, and they're going to be wearing all of that. Super fun.
I love that. All right, so there are a ton of minor league baseball teams in North Carolina. I love the creative names. A lot of people collect hats from the weird names here. But they're the Asheville Tourists, who, by the way, have two mascots, a bear and Mr. Moon. I'm not sure what that means. But there are the Carolina Mudcats down east, the Wood Ducks out of Kinston, the Asheboro Zookeepers, and the
Nice.
list goes on. But then you have my favorite, the Savannah Bananas.
Well, that's because they do all the
Phenomenal.
things. I mean, they dance, they sing, they do all the things. I don't know how they're that talented to actually play and dance and sing all at the
So
same time.
I will tell you, they started out, the guy,
Is this like the Harlem Globetrotters?
It is. That's exactly right.
Yes,
So the
yes.
guy you saw in the yellow suit is the owner. And he and his wife, they put their entire life savings into this. They bought this team. But when they started, they were an actual college league team. They're kind of like the Burlington team, the sock puppets. But then they said, let's just make this crazy. You see the ladies dancing? That's the
Yes.
Nana Bananas.
The
you,
Nana
you have to,
Bananas.
You have to
That's
be a senior
hilarious.
citizen to be on their dance team. And then, of course, all the players do all the things, as Tanya said, during the game. Yep. And there's that. And that's Split, their mascot, who
Of
is
course,
incredible.
Banana Split.
So
Got
what
it.
they do now, they're really a show, and they play the Party Animals is the name of the team they're always playing.
Okay.
They are coming to Durham this summer. If you want to see them,
I've
they'll
gotta
be.
go.
I'm going. It is
I
in
gotta
July.
take all the kids that I know to this because it looks like so much fun.
So much. They go crazy, and their TikTok is through the roof. So check that out too.
I wonder if there are any tickets left. Now that you say that.
Probably not. But
Because people have been watching them, right, on like YouTube and online and all that other kind of stuff. So I'm sure when they said they were coming anywhere close to here, that it was like
they
crazy.
said their merch sold out before they played their first game because people liked the name and heard what they were going to do. Because everybody wants the Savannah Banana stuff. So
right.
it's crazy. All
And
right.
go in a banana suit. because
Yeah,
you can.
you do. You can do that.
Might be a little hot.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
That'll get you pumped.
That's our
like
Club
Club
4 to
2.
5.
Uh-huh.
That's what Lauren calls it, our Club 4 to 5 music. Yeah, welcome back. Eric Chilton here with Ben Briscoe and Tanya Rivera.
Yo, what day is it? It's Thursday.
One day away.
Okay.
It is Thursday, a very, 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 very hot Thursday.
Yes, so true.
I'm sweating even inside, Eric.
Well, next week we'll be in the 60s, so you better enjoy this while you can. It'll be a little cool.
80-something today, 60-something by Sunday, right?
Yeah, by Sunday. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
Okay.
and we'll stay in the 60s most of next week, but we'll get to all that in a minute.
All right, let's go to our top stories first. We got to tell you this, a manhunt is underway in Gaston County after police say a man shot 2 people, including a 6-year-old.
Neighbors say it all stemmed from a kid playing and a basketball rolling into the suspect's yard.
Yeah, police are searching for 24-year-old Robert Singletary. Witnesses told police that the child went to get the ball from his yard and he started shooting. The child and her father were hit. U.S. Marshals and a helicopter from the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department are helping with this search. This is an ongoing investigation. We're going to continue to keep you updated.
North Carolina is a stand your ground state, but what does that mean when it comes to gun laws? Under North Carolina's stand your ground law, there are 3 places where deadly force can be used if you are scared for your life: your home, your workplace, and your car. You are allowed to use deadly force if there's a reasonable fear of imminent death or bodily harm. The law also states you can't open fire on a law enforcement officer or a bail bondsman who's there doing their job.
Today is April 20th, or a day often referred to as 420. The date is linked to marijuana, and some North Carolina lawmakers are now making a push to legalize the drug. Let's connect the dots.
This year, we could see fewer restrictions on marijuana. Let's connect the dots. States are working to completely legalize cannabis. It started with Colorado back in 2012. And since then, 20 states have allowed people to use marijuana as they please. And now there's a push to make North Carolina the next state to legalize marijuana for fun. Democrats introducing new legislation this week saying recreational use of the drug could bring millions in tax revenue. But it likely won't pass. The Republican supermajority in the General Assembly wants to legalize it just for medical reasons. It's already passed the Senate, but still needs to get voted on in the House, meaning there's a chance we could see more access to cannabis in the coming year. And that's connecting the dots.
By the way, the Senate voted on that bill at 4:20 p.m. So, did you know that 100% of counties in the U.S. have food insecurity? That is according to Feeding America. And since the pandemic, the need, it just keeps growing, meaning more and more people are turning towards community programs or food banks like the Greensboro Urban Ministry. The nonprofit organization says the need for food is just nonstop. They say last month, nearly 2,000 households stopped by to get food, 200 of those brand new to the service. The Greensboro Urban Ministries Pantry allows people to get food they could not otherwise afford.
These are folks who have jobs, who are trying to keep food on the table for their families, and it's expensive. Life's expensive, food's expensive, and so this is a way for folks to come and choose what they want and what they need.
And we need your help too. We're teaming up with the Greensboro Urban Ministry to address food insecurity in the Triad. We're collecting food for our Food to Families drive this Saturday, April 22nd. There are 16 different drop-off sites. Several of our folks will be at the Harris Teeter at Friendly Center on Saturday. I'll be there. I really hope to see you. Check out our website for a full list of drop-off locations and needed items.
Another organization is helping feed people today. The Out of the Garden Project is a nonprofit formed to combat hunger in the community. Well, today they're hosting a mobile food giveaway. It's starting at 5:45. You can pick up food at 2023 16th Street in Greensboro. It is sponsored by the Muslim American community.
Well, all eyes watching Saturday as this front gets closer to us, and we'll start to see those showers and maybe some isolated thunderstorms moving in. But for now, we're looking at really warm temperatures. This will be the last day of these mid 80s, or in some cases upper 80s, because Troy is at 88 degrees right now. 85 for High Point, Lexington, and Asheboro. We see 83 at the airport where our official records are kept. Lows tonight, 57 with clear skies. Tomorrow, 83, partly sunny and warm. Wind's not bad. Southwest 10 to 15 tomorrow. That'll keep us warm for one more day. And then after after this, we'll start to see Saturday that rain-cooled 70s, then into the 60s, and we stay in the 60s for a while. Normal high, low 70s this time of the year. Here's the culprit with that front getting closer to us. By the time it gets here, they will be scattered. You'll see showers, not a complete washout, but you'll see those scattered showers Saturday morning, probably into Saturday afternoon, and maybe early evening before finally around 6 or so. We hope, keep fingers crossed, that we see some clearing after that. Ahead of that cold front, though, we're still in that warm sector for one more day on Friday. Let's look at the long range, the 7-day forecast, and you've got temperatures at 74 for your Saturday with a 70% chance of rain and thunderstorms. And then Sunday, cooler. It'll be windy on the backside of that front. As we see those temperatures dropping down a little bit, they'll go down to 66 on Sunday, and we're stuck in the low to mid 60s Monday through Thursday of next week. The difference, Monday, Tuesday, sunny. Wednesday, Thursday, a slight 30% chance of a shower.
You might not know this from watching on TV, but Tanya Rivera and I both have a crafting addiction.
We do. We like to create all kinds of things. You're a master potter.
Well,
You've been studying it for the last couple of years.
And you just make everything. You're so talented.
I like to make cakes and decorate them.
They are gorgeous and they taste amazing, y'all. But I do not have the skills that these ladies in Lenoir County have. It is a true gift.
Yeah, Abigail Velez from out of our CBS affiliate in Kingston shows us how they're quilting up a storm.
In the early 90s at Lenoir Community College, a group of quilters created what is now a quilting society.
They came together and organized a guild, and it was named News Quilters Guild Incorporated, so it is a corporation, a nonprofit.
The group exists to comfort those most in need with a handmade warm embrace, a quilt.
We gave 40 quilts to the police department, and we let them know these are to go in the police cars and use as you deem fit. We're hoping that if they have to take a child out of a domestic situation, that this quilt will be one that this child can wrap up in, and it's a hug from all of us. We're a bunch of grandmas for the most part.
Hours of labor and loads of patience. I asked the guild where they find their inspiration.
I have 5 or 6 quilts that my grandmother made. And I have one that is, I'm the 5th generation to get it handed down to. So I've always wanted to do this, so I retired and now I can. So
layer cake lemonade, and the material was given to me by my son and his family for my birthday.
My friend gave me this fabric, and so I made it into a baby quilt, and I'm busy binding it now.
And when motivation runs low, the quilters turn to each other for guidance. And how did you think of this idea?
I saw one she made.
We love quilting. We love fabric. We love being with each other.
The News Quilters Guild is proving that some hugs can last forever.
That's super sweet. I know some people who they take their old, if they played for a soccer league or softball or baseball or whatever, their tournament t-shirts.
Oh, yes.
Or whatever, and they put that into the quilt so that they can remember.
So that is what, when I did a story showing all my, you've seen my college t-shirts that my wife wants me to throw away and I don't want to throw away. So they're in a giant box and they're here at the station.
You need to make them into a quilt.
Yes, and so someone told me to make them
You brought them
into a quilt.
here. You had to take them out of the house.
She said, clean that thing out.
It wasn't enough to just leave them in your backseat of your car like the rest of us do.
Right.
You had to bring them into work.
They're at a desk at work that is not being used right now. And I did a whole my 2 cents on it.
It is time to give those away.
No, make a quilt out of them.
No.
Quilt.
I'll make a quilt out of that. Would be great. I found something thanks to a viewer when I said this. She said this is what you need to do.
You better get to learning to sew.
No, they're doing it.
He's going to pay somebody to do that.
That's exactly right. Mine would look
okay.
horrible and fall apart. We'll take a break. We'll be back.
tax day? It is over. So why am I talking about it still? Well, because there are freebies to be had. Yes, even after tax day, there are freebies. I want you to check this out. It's from Cheesecake Factory, which we have at Friendly Center, of course, in Greensboro. It's called a sweet deduction. That's right. You get $10.40 off when you spend $50 on pickup or delivery. Now, this is all the way through Friday. So, you know, date night tonight or tomorrow, pick it up. I love the code. It's tax day 1040. Free is always good.
Yes. I love that. Well, you don't have to even have a discount for me to have cheesecake, though. That's a given.
No, but it's nice to get it.
But like $10 is like the price of one slice of cheesecake there.
For
so
sure.
That's
you have to
good.
spend 50, right?
You have to spend 50,
but that's still great.
Really,
That's
if you
easy
got
to
2 or
do.
3 pieces of cheesecake for folks and like you split a meal because all their meals are huge, right, you could do that for sure. I, of course, wanted to see what other freebies are out there. So with today being Earth Day, we have a freebie to help get you outside. All right, so here it is. It is National Park Week, Saturday, April the 22nd through the 30th. And on April 22nd, which is Saturday, you get the free admission into all national parks. Now, of course, North Carolina is home to many a national park, national memorials, national seashores, all of which will be free admission. Of course, the closest one to us here is Guilford Military Park, but there's never a fee to go into that park. But maybe you take a trip to the beach this weekend, because I enjoyed the Wright Brothers Memorial. It's normally $10 per person, but on Saturday, it's absolutely free. I mean, if you're up for a weekend trip, you can head on out there.
That long hike out there.
That is.
It is a long hike out there. That's true. Now, the one that I really want to go to is not in North Carolina. It's in West Virginia, New River Gorge. It's the newest national park, and it's got like a big suspension bridge that you can walk over.
I've seen that, but I didn't know that was a national park.
It is brand spanking new.
Have y'all done the bridge at Grandfather Mountain?
Yes.
A long time ago.
It's on my list. I haven't made it out there
You
yet.
got to
Is
do
it
it.
worth
You have to do it. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
It's a
you got to do it
definite.
for sure. All right, one more freebie before I let you go. Throughout the year, I have this one is Comic Book Day, and it is May the 6th. Participating comic book specialty shops give away free comics to whoever comes in. There's actually a free Comic Book Day website for you to check about all the events. Be free!
Hello, 1, 2, 3. You are switching it up, Mary. I like it. I like it.
is Thursday, and that means it is time for a News 2 movie review.
Today, Manning Franks is taking us into the thriller and mystery. What movie are we talking about today, Manning?
Today, everyone, we are talking about a new thriller in theaters called To Catch a Killer. See, that rhymed. Starring Shailene Woodley. Let's go give it an investigation. There seems to be a thriller released every other week, just like a drop in the bucket. You know, be it in theaters or on streaming, and subsequently they just seem to vanish in a pile of competition. And yet, occasionally, there are a few that will rise to the top of the pile by offering either a staggeringly original vision or a good old-fashioned, engaging story. To Catch a Killer is the latter, although it doesn't get out unscathed.
We have an Olympic-class marksman running wild. Every shot found its mark. No casings, no brass, not a single fingerprint.
In To Catch a Killer, Shailene Woodley stars as Eleanor, a young Baltimore police officer with a checkered past who is thrust into the position of liaison between the FBI and her department after a disturbing mass shooting that left dozens dead. With the help of the FBI's lead investigator, Jeffrey Lamarck, played by Ben Mendelsohn, Eleanor helps profile and track down a serial killer that's not done yet. With a title as painfully generic as To Catch a Killer, one would expect this to just be a passing watch. Yet it is the strong filmmaking prowess of director Damien Zifron that makes this film excel. Zifron knows how to use striking imagery to compel the narrative further with its solid commentary on gun violence, institutional corruption, and societal failings of those suffering with mental illness. It's that confidence behind the camera that makes this film a cut above the rest, but just barely. What really drags down this overstuffed narrative is the tepid juggling of its themes and the underwritten nature of the main characters. Ben Mendelsohn and Shailene Woodley both elevate the material they're given and prove they are both consistently capable actors. But even they can't help a screenplay that comes across as a pale imitation of The Silence of the Lambs. It gets lost in what it wants to say and instead leaves the audience with a muddled message that's as opaque as the killer's identity. Many of the characters in To Catch a Killer are dense, one note, and oftentimes just there. Still, it's a thriller that's positively riveting thanks to its committed cast and a good understanding of how the genre works from a filmmaking perspective. Even if it is a little basic. I'm giving To Catch a Killer a for you to decide. You can watch it only in theaters.
I would see this, I think, because I like thrillers.
It is a good, solid movie. It's nothing revolutionary, as I was saying. It has some parallels to Silence of the Lambs, more so than it probably should. It should probably stand upon its own. But as a nice trip to the theaters, I think this would be a good outing for about 2 hours.
If only it had Anthony Hopkins, too.
Right.
And then I'd be in for sure.
He is still kicking and still doing great performances. So, like, he could totally be in it as a weird cameo. And it's like,
that would be great.
Are you connecting? I don't know. So
is this one of those ones where I have to stand behind my couch and kind of watch it and then kind of not watch it and kind of watch it?
I'll say, okay, yes and no, but only because the suspense builds the entire time. There's no like violent imagery or whatnot. Well, there is, but it's more striking in the sense of the aftermath than it is actually what you actually see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so you don't see like the torture or whatever.
No, it's not about that. It's more about asking these broad questions, but it asks so many questions and doesn't answer enough. So it's kind of like the tools are there, but it doesn't create a full picture.
So on the picture of it, it is a very beautiful film. It reminds me of like an Eastern European film, how bright and white it is.
It's really visually striking, as I said in the review. So it is something you can see on a big screen and be like, oh wow, this is, I'm engrossed with what is happening right now.
It looks a lot like the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh, you know what? It is very, that vibe, not as violent, but obviously it has that same vibe. Same vibe, yes.
All right.
So, it's good.
I just want a romantic comedy. Is that in your wheelhouse?
Well, give her some Hugh Grant. She'll be happy.
This would not be that.
I'll see what I can do.
All right, thanks.
We'll work on that.
I'll work on it.
All right, let's talk about a forecast for the next several days. We have big changes coming up. We'll go from 80s today and possibly tomorrow to the 70s on Saturday and some rain and thunderstorm. We got it all over the board for the next couple of days. Things will change. Clear skies for tonight though, and we'll go from those low 80s where a lot of folks are now, low to mid, and we'll drop down tonight. 64 degrees by 2 a.m., but we think we'll be in the upper 50s about the time you head out tomorrow morning. Let's take a look. Here comes the front. This is the one coming in Saturday. That one will move by, we'll say Saturday morning until probably Saturday early evening, maybe 5, 6 p.m. Should be clearing after that pretty quickly. We're in the warm sector ahead of that, so for your Friday, we'll still see these warm temperatures. You see the high pressure off the coast. Clockwise flow of winds mean winds out of the southwest, and that's a warmer flow, or southeast in this case. As that cold front approaches, though, then we see a big difference, and temperatures drop dramatically, especially from Saturday to Sunday. The high-resolution futurecast shows you the timing. This is at about 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Scattered showers, more moisture streaming in from the south. That's 11 o'clock, and as we head into the afternoon, even around 2 to 3, that's probably when we'll see the heaviest thunderstorm activity, and then a quick clear out on the back end of that as that system moves through. So we'll keep you posted on that. The rain and storms, it's on and off, heavy rain at times, storms in the middle of the day. That's a 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. when we could see a heavier thunderstorm. The biggest concern with this would just be a gust of wind that could cause some damage. At least we haven't been rainy for a long time, so we shouldn't see any issues with trees falling and that type of thing. But if you have something that is loose, yeah, not the case, because those winds will be pretty strong there, especially on Sunday. So cooler on the backside of the front. We'll go to 66 with breezy and clearing conditions, we should say, partly cloudy. Then Monday, Tuesday, we're back to sunshine. Notice the overnight lows drop down. It's not out of the question to see maybe a upper 30 possible Monday morning or Tuesday morning. We're calling for 40 even, but definitely in the northern counties. And mid 60s sunshine for Monday, Tuesday. Heading into Wednesday, Thursday, we have another rain chance, albeit slight. 30% chance, and highs will go to the low 60s, which is almost 10 degrees below normal. Our normal high this time of the year is 72 degrees.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hello, Brett. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
More security. Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools added body scanners.
Starts in the fall. Hi, it's meant for seniors who are interested in a career in the fire service. Tonight's open house is at GT.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. It sounded like he was outside. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got me running down the hallway.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination.
I was looking through some old pictures on my phone the other day when I came across a couple that stopped me in my tracks. Do you remember these? They're screenshots from the height of the pandemic when most of us were working from home. You might remember I asked you to send me positive messages, and I'd share one every night at the end of the newscast. Then I remembered Chad's check-in when I randomly called viewers to ask them how they were handling the pandemic and everything that was going on. I actually had forgotten I did that. I was telling my cousin who was visiting over the weekend about how we couldn't get haircuts for months when barbershops and hair salons were shut down. That was challenging when you have to be on TV every day. I'd have to comb my hair a certain way to avoid showing how long it was getting. It's so strange to think back to that time. To me, it almost feels like it didn't actually happen, like it was a dream or something that happened in a previous life. It's possible my brain blocked much of those memories because it was such a weird time. When I looked at those pictures, it caused so many memories to come rushing back. Honestly, I'm glad it seems like a dream, a time that didn't really happen. But I'm also glad I have the pictures to remind me that it did. A reminder of what we went through and don't ever want to go through again. That's just my 2 cents. And your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
More security. Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools added body scanners at its high schools this month. Now the district is adding more protection to all of its schools. It's rolling out new training to better prepare for possible crisis